Hey guys, got something a little bit different for you today. Welcome back to On the Flip Side. As some of you may know, my favorite band in probably the world is Megadeth. I've been wanting to take a video of my collection just to kind of do a little bit of a show-off thing for y'all. Anyway, this is a little bit different, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get started. We're going to start off with CDs, and then I think we're going to go to cassettes, and then we're going to go to records and miscellaneous. Killing is my business, and business is good. I believe this is a German press of some kind. It's like a mini LP kind of situation. Kind of a neat little copy. It does not include these boots on this press, but it's just a little mini kind of record. It's kind of a neat little thing. So we've got a nice little foldable, got this nice little fold-out artwork here. And I don't believe that the LP for this album ever actually did include a gatefold version, at least none that I have seen. So this is the original mixes for this, and obviously it is missing these boots, but I think that one's a pretty good one. We have the 2002 remaster of Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. This one, of course, does have these boots, but it is that censored version. We have got 2 copies of Peace Sells But Who's Buying. This one's in a little better shape than this one. I think in this collection I have about 10 copies of this record, so you're gonna see this one pop up a lot. But these ones are not quite the same version. You got different catalog numbers there on that one. But same stuff. Neither of these are the remastered versions, just the original mixes. Got So Far So Good So What on CD as well. Once again, this is original, not a remaster. We have Rust in Peace, of course, original. The Holy War's The Punishment Due single. Obviously it's got Holy Wars on here, it's got Lucretia, and it's got this interview from 1990 on there as well. We have got the single for Hangar 18. This one's a neat little thing, another sort of compact disc. No inside artwork, just the CD single. So yeah, you got like a radio edit for Hangar 18 and the album version. And I think the Conjuring and Hook 'Em Mouth, I think these might be live versions of this one. We have another copy of the Hangar 18 single. Got Countdown to Extinction, of course, original mix once again. Got the Sweating Bullets single, the maxi CD single here. Once again, no inner artwork, just this nice outer artwork. Yeah, this one here's got Sweating Bullets, obviously. It's got the live version, it's got live versions of Ashes in Your Mouth and Countdown to Extinction. Nice little single there. We have the single for Foreclosure of a Dream, another maxi single. Once again, no inside artwork. Yeah, Foreclosure of a Dream, and it's got Skin of My Teeth live, and it's got like a radio edit for Foreclosure of a Dream as well. We have got Euthanasia, just standard, non-remaster version, nothing too special about this. We have the Hidden Treasures B-Sides collection. This one, on the Spotify version, they actually have a few more tracks that are not on the CD version of this album. So this album is only 8 tracks, but I think the Spotify version has like some like 12 or something in there. Just more B-sides. We have MD45's The Craving. This is not a Megadeth proper album, but I believe this is the 2004 remastered version of this album, which took Lee Ving's vocals and replaced them with Dave Mustaine's. This is the side project for Dave Mustaine and Lee Ving of Fear. I think the vocals on this album are a little more suited to Dave Mustaine's voice rather than Lee Ving's. However, both versions I think are both pretty good. We have the original release of Cryptic Writings. This is kind of cool. So we've got the original version of Risk, and we have another copy of the original version of Risk, except it's been signed by the whole band at the time. Got some pictures from the signing event in here. And this was kind of a cool little record store find. It had like the pictures and everything tucked in there. Honestly, this album is, you know, a lot of people really hate Risk, but I think it's quite good. I think I dislike the remaster of Risk more because it kind of took out a lot of the goofiness of this original mix. But the thing is like they kind of neutered this album a bit with that remaster, and a lot of the edits they did to kind of make it a little more traditional or a little closer to their original style, it didn't work as well as kind of just letting it have its own identity. So I honestly really do like the original mix and master of Risk by Megadeth. I think it is a decent record, and honestly, if it was like a Dave Mustaine solo record or someone else even, like this album would have done a lot better than it had done. Anyway, so that's the first little stack of CDs right there. move these off over here. Got our second stack of CDs with Capital Punishment. I'm pretty sure this is their first compilation. It's the big hits off of the Capital era albums, being like the first 7 or so records, excluding Killing Is My Business, because that was on Combat. So it's got Kill the King and all this stuff. Basically, it goes from the more recent tracks all the way to the earlier tracks. This one's almost identical to Greatest Hits Back to the Start, track listing wise. I'm not actually sure why they re-released this one in 2005. Like, it's got very, very minimal differences between this collection and that collection. We've got the maxi disc CD single for Moto Psycho. Once again, no inner artwork. Not a particularly great song, but I mean, it's kind of going for like that 1320 kind of vibe on this one. And yeah, I don't see too many copies of this around. I'm kind of surprised that I even have it, honestly. It's got, you know, obviously the album version and then just like a clean radio edit. We have the limited edition variants of The World Needs a Hero. This one did include a poster, which I did not get in this one, but it's got kind of this neat little slipcase in here. I did throw it in this way because I feel like it should be reading. Like, when you pull out the album, obviously you want to see the art, but if I wanted to sit on a shelf, I want it to sit like this way, like the rest of the albums, and this side doesn't actually have the side here, so I slide it in like this. I think it's a neat little thing. I wish I had the poster for it though. We have another copy of The World Needs a Hero. This is a Japanese version. Obviously I am missing the side here. I actually got this album. I got this copy when I was starting to get into Megadeth, and I was starting to get into like CD collecting and record collecting and all that stuff. And I didn't really know, like, I hadn't really considered keeping like the strip of like Japanese text and stuff, so that ended up getting thrown out, unfortunately. But it is the Japanese version. It has got, I think, where is it? It does have Coming Home, a special bonus track for Japan. Yeah, bonus track for Japan on there if you can see that. But yeah, this is a Japanese version. I do have a few more Japanese versions that I got more recently that I have kept sealed, because I mean, I already own like a ton of copies of these records, so what's the point opening more? We've got 2004's The System Has Failed. Honestly, this record took a while to grow on me, but I think it might be one of my favorites of theirs. Decent artwork. I mean, you know, this I think was the first album to feature Chris Poland in the studio, at least since 1986 Peace Sells. So this one here has just got like, this has some of the best playing of any of their records, in my opinion. It's really jazzy, it's really bluesy, and it's thrashy as hell. I mean, like, some of the most interesting tracks that I think they've ever written have been on this record. So we got the CD version of that. We, of course, have the 2005 collection Greatest Hits Back to the Start. Like I was saying, pretty much the exact same track listing as the Capital Punishment album, with some very minor differences. And I think this one actually has like 3 or 4 more tracks on here. This one has like 17 tracks. I think the other album is only like 13, so just a couple of bonus things. And, you know, a couple of songs off of like Killing Is My Business. We have my very first Megadeth record, Unite Abominations, and this is actually the very first Megadeth CD that I got personally. This is the one. I didn't ever resell this. This is my first CD, and obviously it's a little bit scuffed up, but this is one of my favorite albums of all time. I think it's brilliant. If you don't think it's brilliant, you should listen to it again. We have got the Megadeth Extended Versions compilation. I don't think these are literally like longer or extended. I think there's a few extended cuts of the songs on here, but honestly I think they're pretty much the same. We've got Endgame 2009, another great record from them. Really great return to form for these guys. We've got 2010's Rust in Peace Live for the 20th anniversary of Rust in Peace. We have the 25th anniversary edition of Peace Sells But Who's Buying. We got 13, 2011. Decent record. First half of this album is pretty great. Second half kind of falls a little flat in some points, but overall pretty decent. I hate this fucking record. This is the Best Buy bonus track version of Super Collider. It's got like a extra bonus track for A House Divided and Countdown to Extinction Live, but it's just... I own pretty much every Megadeth record that you can get on a vinyl format or like an analog format, except for this one, because I still cannot stand the idea of buying this thing again, because this album is just awful. It's like they ran out of ideas halfway through and just kind of said screw it, and like they just kind of pulled from a bunch of like old riffs or something that are just really mismatched. Like the only good songs off of this album, I think, are Kingmaker. God, and that's kind of it. Like the Blackest Crow has some interesting sort of banjo-y kind of parts, but it's not very good. The cover they do of Cold Sweat is pretty decent though. That's a great Thin Lizzy song, but I mean, this album, I'd say, if you don't like Risk and you like this album, I would think you're a crazy person, because this album is a big stinking pile of dog shit. Obviously we've got Dystopia here. This one, just a normal copy. I think I did get 2 copies of this at one point. I think I gave one to a friend who didn't have it, but decent record here. We have the Peace Sells 2004 remaster. The So Far So Good So What 2004 remaster. We have the 2004 remaster for Rust in Peace, except this is a Japanese version. With the nice bar, it's all sealed. We have the Euthanasia. I'm not sure if this is a remaster of Euthanasia. It doesn't look like it. I think this is just an original version of Euthanasia, Japanese pressing. Got the original version of Cryptic Writings, Japanese pressing, sealed. We've also got United Abominations in a Japanese version. This one's got the cover of Led Zeppelin's Out on the Tiles. Fantastic cover, by the way. Oh, and also pre-ordered Dystopia, so I got like a signed thing, like a little booklet for the album. Didn't come with it, like, it came with the original booklet unsigned. I don't even know why they bothered. I don't think anyone would really mind having just one of these signed instead of one signed and one not. It seems like kind of a waste, but pretty cool. Have the 20th Anniversary Countdown to Extinction box set. I think this one also is missing a few things, but no big deal. Alright, so we are going to move on to cassettes. We have the very first Megadeth record. We've got Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. This is with all of the original tracks, including these boots, completely uncensored. Goddamn great album here. Got Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? This one actually, when I bought it, had like 2 inserts in it. I don't know why, but I think I might have the club edition of this thing. It's kind of hard to say, but that one's obviously a great record. I have this really interesting one. This is the Combat mix of Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? So if you didn't know, Megadeth was on Combat Records for 1985's Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. For the next album, they also signed with Capitol Records. And they had a mix pretty much completely done for this album that was done by Randy Burns. And Randy Burns had also mixed Killing Is My Business. And for whatever reason, they decided to take this mix and have it completely redone by Paul Lonnie. It's an amazing mix. I love how it sounds, but this album has just like the reverb is ramped up, the drums are like way more prevalent. You can hear a lot of stuff in this mix, and I have very little info on this cassette. I mean, it is a different version. I mean, I own 10 fucking copies of this album. Like, at this point, I can tell, you know, which version I'm listening to for the most part. And it's just like a blank little cassette. It's on, I think, just regular old Faro tape. It's not like chrome or metal cassettes or anything like that. But if you actually look, I think if you can see that, there's like some yellowing to where the lettering is for the Sharpie, so you know this thing's old. And when you smell it, it smells like an old library, like this was sitting in someone's basement for years. So there's no doubt to me that this is old. And I don't know why this copy was made, I don't know whose it was, but it is the original Combat mix. Just kind of a nice little thing done. I spent like $100 on this cassette alone. I don't know how much it's actually worth, but I've never seen another one. If you guys express enough interest in getting this thing uploaded, if you want to hear it, I will see if I can't figure out a way to rip this thing digitally and see if you guys can't enjoy what I've been enjoying. But honestly, this is an amazing mix of this record. It honestly is probably the best version I've heard, and I'm surprised they shelved this version and went with Paul Lonnie. Even though his mix is great, I think this mix is far better. We've got So Far So Good So What on cassette. We've got the Anarchy in the UK single for cassette. We got Black Friday and Devil's Island live as well. And I think this one is just one of these like slide maxi single boxes, except someone had broken off these things in here, so I kind of just threw that in there as an extra little safe measure for this thing. Rust in Peace, of course. Can't live without it. Got Countdown to Extinction on cassette. Euthanasia. Cryptic Writings, I believe this is the club version. Got this one the most recently, actually. I think this might be... I think I had to get this shipped in from like Canada. It's in pretty good shape for the most part. Plays well, no skips, nothing like that. Of course, we have Risk on cassette as well. And honestly, I won't stop saying it. I really do like this album. I'm surprised that it didn't do better. Because, damn it, the songwriting on some of these songs might be a little bit weak in the lyrics department, but I mean, honestly, they're just kind of like good jams on here. Like, I love the original mix of Insomnia on this record. The remastered version, in my opinion, totally sucks. Prince of Darkness is amazing. Enter the Arena and Crush 'Em are, you know, they're fun. I do like the story behind that, though. They were just like, fuck it, and the producer they had this song written, Crush 'Em, and they're like, yeah, we'll use that. And Dave thought it would be like kind of cool to have a song that his favorite hockey team could come out to. I don't remember which one it is, but like apparently that was his whole thing for that. Got Breadline, decent track. Doctor's Calling, honestly, other than the intro for that track, it's a great song. Just the intro is a little goofy. I'll Be There is fun. Wanderlust is one of my favorite Megadeth songs. Ecstasy and Seven are kind of weak. Time the Beginning and Time the End are both decent, but they could have been a little bit longer because they seem like kind of redundant being two parts. And the last cassette we have is The World Needs a Hero on cassette. Man, I really hate most of the first half of this album, but the second half of this album is amazing. Recipe for Hate, Warhorse, great track. Losing My Senses, amazing. Dread and the Fugitive Mind, it's fucking awesome. Silent Scorn, that trumpet piece is decent. Return to Hangar, you know, a nice little callback, decent. When, great track, like their longest song, clocking in around like 9 minutes. Really good track. The first half of this album is just like plagued with weird writing choices and production choices and just awful samples. Like 1,000 Times Goodbye, the live version off of Rude Awakening is one of my favorite songs of theirs. But on the recorded material, it has like this really goofy, like sampled voicemail from like Dave Mustaine and like I think his wife. And it just like, you gotta just listen to the song. It's one of the most cringy things I've ever heard. Alright, so we are done with the cassettes. Real quick, I think we're gonna move on to some of these VHSs. We have got the first Gigantor DVD. I don't know if I've ever actually watched this because I love Megadeth and I'll probably actually pull this out to watch at some point for them. Don't really like Dream Theater a whole ton. I mean, they're decent. Like Images and Words is a great album. But I mean, other than that, I'm not a huge prog metal guy. Fear Factory is okay. I don't even fucking like know who the fuck Nevermore or Life of Agony is. Symphony X, I don't know. Dry Kill Logic and Boba Flex, I don't even fucking know. But yeah, I should get around to watching the Megadeth performance on this thing for sure. Excellent record here, live album with Rude Awakening. I believe this is the only album of theirs, or you know, piece of media of theirs that doesn't have the logo on the cover. Like this just was released a little bit after 9/11, hence with the building and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, 24 songs on this thing. I think the actual set list on the DVD is like 20 or 18 songs, and then the rest are like kind of bonus tracks in the performance from the second night of the tour. I'm not sure, but it's a great DVD if you don't already own this. Countdown to Extinction Live, the final DVD I got here. That is all of the DVDs. Let me shift some stuff around real quick. Alright. Got a few books. Dave Mustaine's autobiography. Just a good read, honestly. If you haven't read this book, check it out. Got My Life with Death, David Olefsen's book. I think he did another called More Life with Death. I haven't read that one yet. I don't own a copy, so who knows. You got the new Rust in Peace book. I actually own 2 copies of this, but the only reason I do is because the first one I bought bundled with a shirt, and the second one that I bought was like a limited time deal with like a signed version. So obviously I opted for the signed and paid an extra like 30, 50 bucks. I don't fucking remember, but I do have 2 copies of that for now. Now we are going to move on to the meat. We have got the record pile. I think we're going to be starting in reverse release order. So we got, just because I don't really want to fiddle with the stack. So we've got Dystopia. This is the translucent red version they had online. So Cool, pretty cool pressing. This album, I think this was a step in the right direction for them, but a little bit too chug heavy. I kind of wish that they had eased up on that a little bit and got a little more creative with like the rhythms on this thing. But overall, I mean, Dystopia winning a Grammy, I was stoked on that for them because, you know, they hadn't won a Grammy before, but I don't even know if like this would have been their best material to give a Grammy. Like, honestly, I think if there was going to be a song this album that won a Grammy, it should have been Fatal Illusion. That song is amazing. That's like pure Peace Sells material right there. Death from the Within, okay. Bullet to the Brain, decent. Post-American World, I think, is probably the weakest song on the album. Conquer or Die and Lying in State are amazing. Got The Emperor, which is decent. The cover they do of Foreign Policy by Fear, actually, is fucking great. Like, I really like the cover they got here. But also, I fucking hate the cover artist they've been going with for the past few years. I don't know what the hell his name is, but, like, I just think this style just is... like, it easily dates itself very quickly. I don't think it's a very good look. I hope that they go back to using Ed Repka, because honestly, his covers are fucking timeless. But overall, I mean, decent record. Got the Record Store Day, Black Friday, The Threat is Real single. This has got The Threat is Real and Foreign Policy. It's on white vinyl. Pretty straightforward for that one. Like I said, I do not own a copy of Super Collider because I just can't stand to buy that fucking album again. I've had, like, my local record store has 3 copies of it that have been sitting there since 2013, and I could buy one, but God, I fucking hate that record. I think eventually I'll stomach it and buy the damn thing, but, it's trash. We've got the limited picture disc variant of 13. It's a double vinyl. Came in this packaging with this pretty neat poster. But yeah, honestly, I love the artwork on this thing. I think it's a little bit goofy, just style-wise, but this album, you know, I think they did a pretty decent job on, and I love this little package. I kind of wish that it had come in like a proper sort of cardboard sleeve, because the plastic on these picture disc sleeves tends to wear out over time, and I'm a little worried this one's going to wear out sooner rather than later, but it's fine. Got the 2018 or 2019 reissue of Endgame here. This one was one of the more recent acquisitions as well, because I'm finally bothering with getting all this stuff on vinyl. Not that I didn't own most of this beforehand, but there's just a few here and there that I didn't already have. United Abominations on vinyl as well. This is one of the other ones I got more recently. Yeah, 2018, 2019 remaster of this thing. Great, great fucking album. Listen to this thing, please. I think the cover for this thing was like a Deviant Art contest or some shit to like pick the new album cover for these guys. I don't actually know if they went with the winner on here. I think they like chose a winner for the album cover and then went with someone else anyway. But I always thought like the album cover here was really busy, but I still really liked it a lot. You got like the UN building in the background with like these oil barrels just shooting through it like missiles, and you had Vic Rattlehead with skin here and like an Angel of Death or something on there, and then like the inside with, you know, the gas pumps with like blood coming out of them and shit. Just like it's busy, but I think it's some of my favorite art of theirs just because it's just really fun. They do a lot with this. I mean, it's aged a little bit poorly, but I think it's pretty good. We got 2004's The System Has Failed. And I think this one is the 2018 one. Yeah, I think this was re-released in 2018 and last year 2019. Great record. The World Needs a Hero 2018 re-release as well. I gotta get a new sleeve for this thing because it's starting to get a little beat up. We're getting into some of the earlier stuff. Got the 2014 re-release picture disc for Euthanasia. These are these plastic sleeves that are kind of cheap and wear out a little easily. This one actually is holding up pretty okay, but some of these others, yep. Got Countdown to Extinction here. This one is just falling apart with this plastic packaging, which sucks because I really want this to like hold up and stay in good shape. But honestly, I mean, picture discs, if you don't already like, you know, if you're not already a big picture disc guy, you should be aware that picture discs are really more for show than audio quality or anything like that. I mean, you gotta press a fucking image over the grooves, or I don't actually know how it works, it's like under or over or some shit, but you're losing audio quality with picture discs. I would have preferred if they just repressed all of these individually, but it's okay. We got this bootleg, like, interview disc. Kind of a neat little limited edition thing from 1991. I do have these in kind of reverse chronological order, so even though these are reissues, I am sort of sandwiching them with the originals as well. So yeah, it's this like saw blade kind of picture disc interview. Decent interview. Dave kind of gets a little weird on this thing. I don't know why. I mean, it's Dave Mustaine. Dude's got some weird opinions and thoughts, but fun little interview. This was a gift, and I'm stoked to have it just because I can't live without this band's fucking merchandise. Speaking of merchandise, I do have like 40 or so Megadeth t-shirts. I mean, maybe I'll get around to showing you guys those or something. I think I got pictures of them I might like throw up on like Instagram or something, but it's an obscene amount of t-shirts. We've got the 2014 picture disc re-release of Rust in Peace. I think this was a 2018 re-release of Rust in Peace as well. I think, if I'm right, this one... Yes, this one's on blue wax, and I actually got a misprint of this. Because, I mean, all the songs are right, but I'm missing the label on side A. So we've got side 2's label, and then side A is just gone. Just not there. I don't know if this affected many other copies, but mine just doesn't have it. I don't know if it makes it more expensive or not. I mean, in most cases, misprints can kind of make things more valuable, but I don't know if this is such a drastic one that would make it more expensive or what, but I just thought it was kind of neat to have. Throw that one back in there. The 2008 Capitol Records Vault re-release of Rust in Peace, and I don't know if this is the 2004 remaster or not. I'm pretty sure it's the original mix, as are, I think, the rest of these. We have the Anarchy in the UK single with this like cool laser etching on the back. I think it's probably going to be hard to see with this thing on, but little sticker here is aged so much that it's just come off of this, but not a big deal since this back is non-playable anyway. So it's got like this cool sort of laser etching of the front cover of So Far So Good So What, if you can see that. The front has the little Megadeth logo with Vic Rattlehead going all the way around it. So it's really more like a 10-inch single that they just happened to make a 12-inch single and then just kind of add a bunch of neat little stuff onto. Another 2014 re-release, we got So Far So Good So What. This one, once again, popping out to the bottom. I really wish they had gone with some sort of thicker plastic for this, or once again, a fucking cardboard sleeve, but oh well. Got the single for In My Darkest Hour, advertising The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2. Great song, great movie. If you haven't seen The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, really awesome movie. You should absolutely watch it. It's got some of the funniest scenes in like music that I think I've ever seen. It's got all these young up-and-coming artists who are really stoked about like getting into the music industry and shit, and then has like industry veterans, and it's got like Dave Mustaine in there, and I think he's on like probably on heroin for this interview or something. He's just like, yeah, no, it fucking sucks. pretty fun. Got an original release of So Far So Good So What. You know, lyrics may be considered offensive by some audiences, so this is PMRC era release. Obviously you got Hook and Mouth with that song. I have the 2014 re-release of Peace Sells But Who's Buying on the picture disc, once again falling out of the fucking bottom. I'm not too worried about the picture discs just because, like I was saying, you know, the sound quality on them is whatever. I think this is the 2008 Capitol Vaults version of Peace Sells as well. And an original pressing of Peace Sells But Who's Buying. This one's kind of beat up, but it does have the original inner sleeve and stuff, so that's pretty cool. I think this is a 2014 or 2015 re-release that Century Media Records did without kind of asking or consulting the band. So they did a re-release of this album. I think this is on red vinyl. Yeah, it's on this bright red vinyl. It's kind of a cool version. Mine got kind of damaged at one point, so it's got some of the stuff scuffed up on the front, but I mean, it's not a huge collector's thing for this one, I don't think, just because they didn't consult the band to re-release this, and this was obviously a few years before the Killing Is My Business, the Final Kill version they released, with all the stuff redone and remastered. And that remaster is brilliant. I actually don't own a copy of that yet, but I really should get one. And yeah, this is obviously missing these boots. It's just the 7 tracks instead of the full 8. But kind of a neat oddity there, just because it wasn't anything that was like they somehow got the licensing for it and then they just released it without talking to the band. It's just a weird situation. This is probably one of the more prized possessions that I own. You see, it is a original pressing of Megadeth's Killing Is My Business, and Business is good, so it's got all the original tracks, but it's got a pretty neat thing inside. A note from Dave Mustaine to whoever Jay is. Jay, we have a new album out, Peace Sells But Who's Buying, out 9/5/86 on Capitol. We play Cleveland July 28th with King Diamond. Hope you make it till death, Dave Mustaine. Now, I don't have any way to authenticate this, but it seems like such a specific thing to fake. And once again, it's kind of, it smells old, it's crusty, and it's just, it's such a specific thing to fake that I'm pretty convinced that this is real. I would love to get some confirmation on this. I want to know who the hell Jay is. I mean, it's a personal friend or like a buddy in the music business or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is a neat little thing I got from like one of those like Instagram record stores. I think it was like the Things Found in Records Instagram, and they had cross-post this album for sale from some store in Cleveland. I actually did have 2 copies of the original version of this album, the original pressing. I ended up giving one to a buddy after he'd accidentally sold his copy in a lot of records and didn't realize it until months later. So, gave him my old copy of it that was in a little bit worse shape, and he's happy, I'm happy. It's fine. Alright, there's one more book, the new Death by Design book. It's absolutely fucking massive. It's the size of a fucking record. I still have not actually read through all of this because it's just, it's unwieldy, it's huge, and I'm not a huge comic book fan, but I already own this much Megadeth shit. Why not just buy some more, right? So, we also have the new Warheads on Foreheads collection. It's got 3 LPs in here. I think it's on like gunmetal or something. This fucking box set, I don't know what the hell they did with the packaging, but it just wants to bow out. Like, ever since this came out of the shrink wrap, it's been doing this. I have no idea why. So, I don't think it's constructed super well, but it's still a good set. A lot of good songs on here. I mean, it's not like I don't already own all these songs in various formats, but whatever. And last but finally not least, we have the 25th anniversary Peace Sells But Who's Buying box set from 2011. This is a great little set. I think it's got, this really cool extra artwork. Yeah. The UN building getting nuked. And I think there is the album in here, and then there is a live version of the album, or at least a live performance from 1985 or 1986, and that's on like a splattered marble gray vinyl. It's got this cool little art book, lyrics, photos, and all that stuff. And of course it's got another little fold-out thing with the CD version. So you got the original album, 2011 remaster, you got the 2004 remaster, the Randy Burns mixes, but these are the remastered versions, the Live at the Fantasy Theater, which I think the record is in here as well, and then high-res WAV files for the album and the live show. So that Randy Burns mix that I have on cassette, it is this one, but this one was remastered, so it actually does sound quite a bit different than this one. Then we got another binder full of like little things, like a Japanese ticket, just little things here and there, some like little press photos, and I think this is like a flyer for like their first show or something like that, but it's a cool little set. So that is pretty much everything that I've got. Like I said, I have like 40 or so Megadeth t-shirts, but like lugging those out of my closet and making those kind of, displaying those might be a bit of a pain in the ass. I might get around to posting that on like my Instagram if you guys want to see that. And yeah, let me know if you guys want me to figure out a way to rip this cassette for y'all, because it is a really, really good mix. And honestly, I think the remaster they did, it's good, but God, like, there's so much room in this mix. It's really, really, like, just got a lot of depth to it. Like I said, one of the best versions of this album, and I own fucking 10 versions of it alone. So if you want me to look into that, I will. Just let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I think I should have a review up on Thursday of some albums. Also, if there's any of these albums that you would like me to cover, I absolutely will. Just like leave it in the comments which one you want to see me cover. I already did So Far So Good So What. I think I might redo that one at some point just because it was pretty early on. But I thank you all so much for watching again, and we will see you on the flip side.